This might very well be the video that I never wanted to make. And if you can't disagree with it, then scroll on. But I'm really fucking sick of explaining fucking simple things to simple fucking people. I don't have the patience or the crayons to be able to elaborate. But it's very, very fucking simple, alright? Look, so quite a few years ago, I went to a Metallica concert, and uh, I was stuck in the crowd. Everyone was pushing forward. This is just an example, all right? Everyone was pushing forward. I'm a buck 20, all right? I'm a small guy. And I had these big old fucking redneck guys behind me pushing me, and as security was freaking out. People were getting crushed. You know, the whole fucking worry about the whole Travis Scott thing, you know what I mean? Uh, and I'm sitting there. What you do, you go into a show, and like if you like me, you just hold like this, just so you give yourself some breathing room, right? And well, these guys didn't like me. I had makeup on. I was. It was a Metallica show, but it was in Newton, Iowa, and just I could tell these guys didn't really like me, and you could hear security screaming, "Quit pushing! Quit pushing!" And this dude looks at me and smiles. One of two smiles I got that night. Says, "Get out! Get out!" What the fuck, dude? Get out! Get out! I'm not doing anything. Dude looked at me like I was dumb and fucking just kept repeating himself, okay? So, next thing I know, while he's screaming, I have a security guard, a hired gun come up and fucking grab me by my hair and pull me out of the crowd. Uh, just straight up, if you've never been to a metal show, big ones, there's generally an aisle down the middle that security guards, go up and down. And pulled me out by my hair and walked me over to the cops. And I'm like, what could you possibly be charging me with? I tried explaining myself. And the cop looks at me, tells me to put my hands behind my back, and smiles and says, charging you with drunk in public. Pulls me over to the cop car, and I get smacked around quite a few fucking times, alright? It's a closed venue, by the way. If you're in a closed venue and you're drinking, it's like being in a bar or anywhere else. Uh, I wasn't doing anything illegal, but they had to make their quota. Small town, big band. They're gonna get somebody in their fucking tank. So I got my ass beat by some cops, and yeah, that happened. So yeah, I've been abused by authority before. Let me give you another example. Um, I was in a downtown bar, Waterloo, Iowa. Uh, this was shortly after the whole George Floyd thing, and I'll express my opinion here in a little bit if you care to listen or if you have the mental capacity, because that's where I'm gonna go with this. Um, we're talking about defunding the police, and I just thought that was a bad idea. Obviously, there is racism amongst some police officers. Not every cop is a good cop, but not every cop is a bad cop. Uh, and I flat out said, we do rely on some authority figure to be able to keep the peace here. Um, I'll get to the finer details later. Uh, and just me simply saying that I was called a racist, and they signed my ticket, and I got chased out of the bar by several women, uh, in in a thunderstorm. It was raining outside, and I got forced out of that bar. What I want to say about that is, I'm all for keeping authority figures in check, and I've spent God ever since I was old enough to understand politics and things like that. I have a passionate hate for injustice. You know, if there's any kind of justifiable hate, it should be against injustice. And God, not that was pretty hypocritical. I thought, you know, um, I mean, I've been called a snowflake. I've been called a racist. I just simply for let me get to the point. If you want to fight like racism and things like that, we really have to be able to determine God is somebody that's an authority figure legitimately being biased, or are we going to lump all people with that? Uh, 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 are we going to lump all the people that are cops into okay? Well, we just have to get rid of that. No, that's bigotry. What I hate about things nowadays is the fact that, you know, we're fighting against injustice and ruining it. You guys are ruining this. My brother, my half brother, is a police officer. Okay, and he's saved I think four people's lives now. They are human beings. Okay, we give other humans authority to so-called protect us, and now we do have problems with that. All right, not every person is a good person. Not every cop is a good cop. Where did it come to the point to where we're labeling people and saying that that's all bad? I again defended some police officers and got called a bootlicker. And yes, I said some things. If your child were abducted and something bad happened, I was pretty graphic with it. I'll admit I can be crass, and I have no shame against that. But I was making a point. Um, if your child were abducted, who are you gonna call? McGruff the crime dog? We need some kind of police force. Whether you like it or not, you're undermining your own point. And this is what I'm going to get to with this. You are you're doing the same thing. Some of you people that are affirmating this whole ideology of uh, trying to make things justifiable and not racist and respecting people of other cultures, other sexualities, other races. You're not going to do that in a way that is the same thing as the people that you're trying to fight. You're lumping people in a bucket, shaming them, and then expecting things to be better. It doesn't matter. Here's where I feel like I need to break out the crayons for some of you people. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about race, religion, creed, whatever. If you say that all people that have this job, that have this religion, that have this color on their skin are bad people, then you're making it harder. You're actually being worse than actual, racists, neo Nazis. At least you can point those out in a crowd. If somebody is inherently a racist, an anti Semite, what have you. The same post that I was commenting on, I had a woman say, look, these are all white males that are commenting on this. They know nothing. You're doing the same thing that the racists are. Okay? What does it make it okay to say that against a white man? It doesn't. You're affirmating the same fucking thing. Alright? I have to redo this video. I was banned from Facebook for 6 days. And what I said was just strictly taken for the words that I used and not the context that it was in. Um, I'll admit I do have prejudice. If I have prejudice against anything, it's against people that have, not people with learning disabilities, but people that have the capability of having a decent conversation and choosing to follow just what the crowd says. I have no respect for that. This stupidity is hurting things. If you're against people being taken advantage of for just being who they are, then you're creating a worse impact than any other racist ever has. It's quite simple. And you know what? I don't respect people. I don't respect anybody that hops on a bandwagon because it's trendy or because this is what most people are doing now. It's great that there are so many people that are against small-minded individuals that want to judge somebody for the color of their skin or their sexuality. But what happens is, I feel like I should draw it up for you. Google these words: undermining your own point. Look at Trump supporters. Not all Trump supporters, for that matter, but when you see people that are truly racist, like the Klan and whatnot, that hopped on that bandwagon, and you act in a way to where, oh, well, all those people are shit because they look like this. You're doing the same thing. It doesn't matter what color that you paint it. It's the same action. It isn't. Oh, the problem isn't even racism. The problem isn't even. It's people that only look at things for their superficial value, for how it's been trademarked and put across. You're doing the same thing. You're taking a group of people and you're putting biased assumptions on them. We need police officers, okay? We do. Uh, do have a problem with authority. I don't like being told what to do, but at the same time, if we had no one doing anything about it, like we've all seen that movie The Purge, okay? If there were no laws, what are you gonna do? Well, this particular other woman said to me, I could do the same thing a cop could. I'm going to put out a manhunt if they abducted my child, and I'm going to file a report. Who are you going to file a report with? Are you even thinking? Are you even really thinking about what's happening with this? So many of you are not. But you feel good about what you're doing because I'm fighting for justice. No, you are taking everything that anyone has fought for justice, and you're ruining it. You're making the rest of us that actually have a brain in our skull look bad. You just turn around and judge somebody else then. You're doing the same thing. You're taking all this racial speech and whatnot that you're making these people right. When we're fighting for people trying to be judged for their character and their intentions and blanketing it with the looks of it, we're trying to fight against people like that. That's what, well, back in the day, that's what a lot of liberals did. Does anybody remember Dee Snider back in the 80s that fought for his music, saying it was art, it was music? That's not illegal. I'm not telling kids to go and kill themselves or dress like women, okay? Not that that's wrong inherently. Or Marilyn Manson that got judged for the Columbine shootings. That the music wasn't the problem. It was the fact that some of these parents are not really taking the time to have a good conversation with their child and have a solid relationship. If these kids were crazy, it wasn't because of the music that they listened to. Oh, well, we know this, and that's awesome that there's so many people that stand up for that. And at the same time, you're doing the same thing, just in a different color. Sorry to be redundant, but that's what it is. I got death threats. Okay, I had several people text me, give me a death threat when I stood up for a police officer, for police officers. There are good ones. How are you supposed to figure out, how are you supposed to come up with a system, a better, stronger system of determining somebody's character before you give them authority if you're just going to blanket them as unhuman? Oh my God. You guys know that I'm pretty anti religious as well, okay? I feel the same thing happens with religion, that people don't really look into their history about the matter, and they just follow what they've been told. And not every religious person is a bad person either. You know what? There's a lot of good that's come out of that, even though I don't happen to agree with. I find it very illogical, and its religion has been used for a lot of really biased, evil things in history. But I'm not going to judge somebody any differently just because they happen to believe and follow in that. It's not the label. It's not being a Republican, a liberal, a cop, a punk rock kid, whatever it is. It's in who you are, okay? And yeah, I'm sick of being judged. I've been called everything, a snowflake, a racist, a whatnot. No, I stand up for logic. I stand up for looking at things for what they are. And I'm sick of getting put down for it. I'm almost at a loss of words. It's really, really disgusting. It's really sickening that people are taking the things that I love. Uh, Open-minded thinking, accepting people for being good people, regardless of what their preferences are, as long as it doesn't hurt somebody. Uh, I, I, I cannot stand injustice, and this is what you're doing. You've turned it into a tit for tat, bullshit, biased, bigotrous fucking game. This ain't gonna be a short video, all right? I don't care. We're not gonna change anything. Did any of these protests I seen in town do anything, or did you just sit there and yell and say we want change? What's your plan? What was your plan? Just defund the police? There's a lot of things we should defund. There's private prisons. There's a whole. I've experienced it. There's a lot of bullshit out there that is not in our interest. It's for corporate interest, okay? Believe me, I've worked for it. I can only comment on that so much. But the only thing we should be fighting right now is ignorance and people that can't see the forest for the trees. If you don't understand what that means that there's people hypothetically, or not hypothetically, excuse me, metaphorically, walking through the woods and saying, I see a tree. I see a tree. I see another tree. Well, you're in a forest. They don't see that. They only see 2 seconds into the first thing they thought about. it doesn't make it any less dumb just because, well, I'm doing it for the better cause. Well, no, you're making it harder for intelligent people to make a decent argument. And no, I'm not just against somebody that has a learning disability. As I've already illustrated, if you have a mental problem, you have a hard time understanding things, or something happened to you and whatnot, I'll give you the same respect as anybody else. But if you have the capability of understanding things and you choose not to, you're just going to follow the last thing you were told. Look, first of all, fuck you. Let me give you another example. Um, Another thing I hate is rape. People that were that's it got to be absolutely terrible. I've I've eavesdropped on certain conversations with people, and whether it be a breakup or whatever, and heard some girls say, "Hey, look, just say he raped you. We're gonna drag his name through the mud because we think he's a piece of shit or we didn't like him." Here's what happens with that: when we have so many false accusations over people, and it's just a flood of guys being absolutely paranoid of saying the wrong thing or coming across as creepy because maybe they're not as attractive as guy A, so they could say the same thing, and rather than you know saying something sexy, they're gonna look at as fucking creep. Could be the same words. So God, when you have false accusations over rape, and these men, many of them, I've seen it. I've seen guys, excuse me for being a little all over the place. Uh, I've seen guys that had to register, and 10 years later, that woman actually went to court and said, "Look, I was lying. That didn't happen." Well, that ruined his life. And even worse, you know why so many people are so afraid of talking about the fact that they were raped? Other than the fact that it's obviously very uncomfortable, they don't want to be looked at as a liar. They shouldn't have to. That's the worst thing in the fucking world. Could you imagine having something like that happen to you and having your own family doubt you? So, oh God, I really hope that if somebody watches this that is ever falsely accused somebody of something just to be vindictive, uh, you have been the single worst thing to ever happen to somebody other than their own rape. Because you've made people question things with your dishonesty. And yes, that happens, okay? I can hear it now. I can hear the comments saying that, I should believe anybody that ever said that. Well, you know what? Some people lie. People lie about everything under the sun, all right? And I really hope that if you're a person that's been through something like that, you've gotten your justice and that your family has believed you and stood by you. And God, I want to apologize on behalf of fucking all men who have actually been decent fucking people that have been accused of that or put down women because of it. Because I'm not biased against women for that. I'm biased against any person of anything for being dishonest, biased, and fucked up. Yes, and I will be redundant. I am so fucking sick of everything that I've loved. The music that I've listened to, then I've been accused of being a Satanist or just my anger being excused because I listened to angry music when I had a right to be angry. Or anything of that matter. This is the first day since my ban has been lifted from Facebook. This culture sucks. Your new culture fucking sucks. You people are terrible, and you're blanketing yourself with good colors, with positive intention, while doing more damage towards justice since the fucking Klan in the 60s. I don't know. Nick, sorry if you read this. I'm sorry to bring you up in this, but my brother's a good fucking cop. He's saved multiple fucking lives, alright? This guy, honestly, is, you can tell, trying to do the right thing. And yet there's people out there saying that if you're a cop, you're a piece of shit. I'm not sorry for any crass shit that I said. Let me put it in quotations in case this gets banned or reported. What I said was, if your kid were to get abducted and you refuse to call the cops, what do you think your kid's gonna think the next time he's in the neighbor's basement, and the next time you see him, his head's cut off in a ditch somewhere? What are you gonna do? We need good people in positions of authority. And for that matter, let's go off on parenting here. I have a very, very tight relationship with my daughter. She's very intelligent. I might not have her every day. I'm not going to tell you the whole situation there. Because you want to make the video 2 hours long, I could make it 2 hours long. Um, my daughter, her reading level is well above her grade. I've taken the time to actually explain things to her, to spend time with her, to talk to her, to help her with her homework, explain things to the best of my ability. It's pretty obvious a lot of people don't at this point. Throw them on the tablet, the Switch, whatever. They see so much of it, and all they do is follow the little videos that they've been shown. It comes a point in time where you need to think for yourself, actually question something, and it's even harder now. A lot more I could say. Like again, I could make this a 2 hour video, but if the last thing I'm gonna say, I stood up for what I believe good cops out there, so that they don't get judged for just being a police officer. Take the color off for a second. Change the color. Say I was standing up for gay people. And somebody took the worst example and said, hey, mind you, note, worst example, don't judge me here. uh, if somebody put me down for uh, standing up for gay people, those people be burned in the street. Forget being deleted off of Facebook. God, if you were a Nazi, you could say anything you wanted to a Nazi, and that's justifiably so. How else are you gonna change that? Are you just gonna blast them? Maybe we should spend more time trying to educate people and speak with them. And even if you disagree with them, be mature enough and fucking smart enough to hold a logical conversation. But I guess that's, you know what, hey, if I stand up for the man ever, then you can say whatever you want to me. I had my family called a bunch of bastards, I had death threats, and I was the one banned. Fuck you. For real, fuck you. Fuck your generation. Fuck you idiots. I'm not putting y'all down for standing up. Again, being redundant. Hopefully some of it'll stick. I'm not putting anybody down for standing up for minorities or what have you. I'm putting people down for ruining the fucking fight. You illogical idiots. Fuck you for that. There's so much more I want to say. I don't know. You probably just listen to my monotone. Probably, maybe you'll skip through it. Maybe I'll get a bunch of fucking people unfriending me. Maybe this will get reported. This whole thing is weak. The censorship that's coming up. You people are censoring things that aren't even. I mean, fuck, Dave Chappelle. This guy makes a good point about something, and yet all he has to do is speak about, oh, let's mention this subject, and then all of a sudden, forget what he's saying about it. He just mentioned it, and so that's gonna create some rage in some people. You're stupid. You're fucking stupid. All right. Stay away from me. If you think like that, please stay the fuck away from me. I really want to do everything I can to have people treated fairly. Look, I'm gonna be done here. I'll probably make another one. It'll be more concise. This is spur of the moment because you fucking people really piss me off. Try elaborating it, and I've tried explaining myself, and they said I was all over the place. Well, maybe I am, or maybe most people can only look at this much at once instead of putting it together. Last thing, okay, here, last thing I want to say. If any of you really have a problem with the way that I think, or you want to debate things with me, talk to me in person. All right? I'll talk to you about bias. When I was in college, I used to spend a lot of time. I was 22. I spent a lot of time going up to the coffee shop downtown, and I would speak about philosophy and whatnot, and have really good, deep conversations with some really intellectual people. It was awesome. We talked about everything from Nietzsche to Plato to uh, the Bible, what have you. And this man came in and started speaking with him. He was a youth leader. He was a pastor and a youth leader. Okay, and my other friends, professors, whatever that I talked to every once in a while, they had left, and I had an hours long conversation with this guy. And I hope this doesn't come across as arrogant, but I am proud of it. We had a really long, good conversation, and this guy whose life's work was devoted to perpetuating Christianity renounced his faith. Now we didn't see eye to eye 100%, but uh, just using simple logic, um, give you a preview. If science is studying the world around us, then not a belief structure, and that is God's creation. Therefore, science is studying God's creation, and therefore, to say that something is false in science because it doesn't follow your religious doctrine, essentially, you're denying God's creation, and therefore blasphemy. Hence, my point: religion is blasphemy. Do your homework about something. It's a belief structure. It's what you believe about life and whatnot. That's what you're following with all of your faith in your heart. You should actually do some homework about what the fuck it is. You're devoting your life to something. Do more than just what you've been told to think. Let me extend that too. That goes to workplace things as well. All right. If you see something wrong happening at work, say something about it. Instead of some of these rules I've seen in some businesses to where, well, this person's hurt and it's policy that I talk to, I follow the chain of command, and before I call an ambulance, I have to talk to my supervisor. If you can't find your supervisor, call a fucking ambulance and use your mind, use reality. Don't just follow what you've been told. And if you get fired for that, probably not a great place to work anyways. All right? Stupid, force-fed, simple-minded fucking sheep. I've never been forced to the middle so much. Politically, it was a lot easier when it was just straight fucking ignorant racists, fucking overzealous zealots, religious zealots. That was a lot easier to deal with. Now you've taken everything that was fighting injustice and you've fucking ruined it. Again, yes, I'm being redundant. Yes, I'm continuing to try to prove that point. Maybe some of you need to Google what some of these words mean. But until then, maybe if you don't understand what I'm saying, shut the fuck up and don't say anything until you have half-ass idea over what logic and practicality is. All right? Yeah, I'm pissed off. Yeah, I'm a happy person. I really am a happy person, but I can't stand the way most of you think anymore. It's fucking sickening. Let me show you this. I can turn it around. Maybe not. It says it's the Dalai Lama. And it's going to be backwards. God damn it. It says world peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not the absence of violence. Peace is a manifestation of human compassion. That's why we need to talk to people and be open to be talked to. Damn it. Have conversations. That's the only way we're going to change it. Instead of judging people like these fuck-ass millennials. No, I'm not done yet. Fuck it. I'm not fucking done. If you think that you need to give your kid a sex change at 5 years old because he's exhibiting some feminine qualities, wait till they're... Sorry, I'm angry. I'm very angry with it. I've recently read about people getting their kids sex changes being 5 years old. If you feel the need when you're older, or you feel like you are a woman in a man's body and vice versa, go for it. But you can't get upset with people for looking at you and seeing that you obviously look like a particular sex. You're talking about pronouns? God, if I know and you prefer to be called that way, I will gladly do it. But don't write off your family, your mother, your father, whoever named you, for wanting to continue to call you the same name. Especially if they're willing to accept your decisions and you're going to get upset about semantics. This is what the entire problem is people getting upset about semantics and not understanding the difference between reality and the way that words are fucking used. It's, it, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as a person in an office that has never done a job but yet makes a rule about it because their little policy book told them so. It's the same thing as a very sheltered person that's only been raised around one race and was told that any person like this is a bad person, and then assumes the worst about it. It's the same thing happening. Yes, I'm saying, again, being redundant, I'm reiterating the fact that when you want to assume that somebody that just doesn't agree with you or how justice should take place and you immediately call them a racist, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Think for your fucking self. You're making things so much harder for the people you're supposedly fighting for. And I have no tolerance, and I'm very prejudiced against stupid motherfuckers. Because you're choosing to not see that. You're being weak. It's not an illiterate person, it's somebody that has the capability of reading and is choosing not to. Because they've been told not to. Or whatever little piece of shit way of thinking you've subscribed to. Fuck you for that. I don't know. I'm stuttering. I know I'm all over the place because I'm trying to rack my brain over a way to... Not trying to put people down. I'm trying to find a way to make you understand. I'm sick of getting put down for standing up for people. I've been put down for standing up for black people. I've been put down for standing up for gay people. I've been put down for standing up for cops. And I've been put down for standing up for people that have money. Because not every rich person is fucking evil. Some of them actually worked for it. There's bad people in every category. Quit categorizing things. I think I'm done. I really hope that... I don't want to piss anybody off with this. I really hope that somebody actually takes a minute to sit there and think about it. That's not my goal, to shit talk. My goal with anything I say is that hopefully I get one person that maybe thinks a little harder. That's what I'm trying to do. But at the same time, fuck you if you're making that harder. I'm out. Use your fucking mind.